Hey everyone, Rich Bennett here. I'm excited to tell you about something we're doing for National Recovery Month. Here at Conversations with Rich Bennett, we're holding a special event called the Potathon for Recovery, 12 Days of Hope. For 12 consecutive days, we'll release a new episode dedicated to powerful conversations about addiction, recovery, and hope. And we're doing this to raise vital funds for an incredible nonprofit, Rage Against Addiction. They are on the front lines providing sober living homes, recovery coaching, and essential support to families. We believe recovery is a journey worth celebrating, and your support can make a tangible difference. Every donation, no matter the size, goes directly to them, helping to save lives and provide a second chance. So please join our mission. You can start donating right now. Simply go to conversationswithrichbennett.com and you'll see the donation thing right there so you can donate and help these women in recovery. Hey everyone, it's Rich Bennett. Can you believe it? The show is turning 10 this year. I am so grateful for each and every one of you who've tuned in, shared an episode, or even joined the conversation over the years. You're the reason that this podcast has grown into what it is today. Together, we've shared laughs, tears, and moments that truly matter. So I want to thank you for being part of this journey. Let's make the next 10 years even better.
Coming to you from the Freedom Federal Credit Union Studios, Harford County Living presents Conversations with Rich Bennett.
Slow pitch
It's probably the least sexy part of organizing. That's okay. No. The truth is,
on today's episode of Conversations with Rich Bennett, we're diving into the heart of storytelling, grandparenting, and a powerful second act. Meet Ron Kinscherf, a former IT consultant who traded tech for tales. It sounds like a book, Tech for Tales.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that.
Inspired by the simple joy of making his grandkids smile. From backyard anthills to palatial patios, Ron has crafted a whole new world through his Papa Tell Me a Book series. Now with his 11th release, Adorable, he's bringing us the story of Prince Aunt True, not Andrew,
No.
Aunt True, and you'll understand more in a little bit, and a royal dose of sibling rivalry, perspective, and love. We're talking about creativity sparked later in life, the impact of strong female figures, and how a simple moment at a Sunday dinner table changed everything. Grab your drinks, whatever. You've all heard me talk to children's authors before, and one thing I've always said, a good children's author writes books that both adults and children enjoy and learn something from. And Ron's books do that. How's it going, Ron?
It's going great. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. And I got to ask you this before I get into how you got into the writing. So Adorable.
Yes.
And I don't know if this is the only book I've seen so far.
Right.
But in the beginning, the first page, you're congratulating Margaret.
Yeah.
Is this something that you do with all your books?
No, this was an idea I had to draw up interest in the book, where I had a drawing contest in my community. So whoever drew the best picture of the Queen's Palace, because this book is the first time the Queen's Palace appears. So I just threw it out to the kids in the area, and Margaret ended up winning the contest. So the thing was, if you win the contest, you'll have a page in my book. So she does. So she has a page of my book. And the interesting thing is, so this
Margaret Watkins.
Yeah. So she's a sweetheart too. This book came out. I self-published this book first, Rich,
right,
and then it got picked up by a publisher. So when they picked it up, I was going to keep all my IP, all my illustrations and all that, which is rare in the industry. But they kept that picture in it, which was awesome. I didn't know. I thought maybe they'd strip that part out because it wasn't actually a part of the book. But they left that part in. So that's Margaret's dad was very excited about that.
And the publishing company is Morgan James,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Did they approach you or did you approach them?
So it's a networking tale.
Okay.
So I go to this Friday morning coffee once in a while, and somebody knew somebody knew somebody, and that somebody asked me to join the regional coffee on a Monday morning, and I didn't want to do it. I just don't like those things. So it was exactly what I thought it was, where a guy gets down there all hyped up, goes, "Well, I woke up this morning, I had my first cup of Joe, and I was going to network. I want to meet, that type of guy." So I was like, okay, I'll do it for a friend. And then we had a breakout session, and we are just talking about what we were supposed to be talking about. And then I mentioned I also write kids books, and somebody on there goes, "I know somebody who can help you." I go, "I've heard that many times, ma'am." And she goes, "I guarantee you this guy can help you." And I said, "I want your name and number, because if this doesn't go through, I'm coming to get you, because guarantee is a big word." Later that day, she and this gentleman called me, and he was a scout for Morgan James, and 2 weeks later I had a contract. So it was just one of those, like I said, I'm not, a networking, like there's a 9-person link, so it's 7 minds of Kevin Bacon or whatever.
7 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
It's exactly like that. So that's how it happened. And they've been great to work with. It's rare that a children's author gets to keep their IP, that it gets to use the illustrator that they chose. So it's been fun. And hopefully we're going to do some more projects.
All right. I want to go back to that Sunday dinner.
Yeah.
So what was going through your mind when your daughter-in-law suggested becoming a children's book author?
So go back a week or two, and I quit my job. So I, at that point, I didn't have a job. So we were discussing what Papa was going to do next, and everybody was throwing out these ideas. I could go into drive school bus because there's a shortage. I didn't want a quote unquote big boy job, a real job. And we were just throwing ideas around, and my daughter-in-law goes, "Well, you could write kids books because you tell stories to the kids all the time." That's something really? Okay. What else you guys got? And then, so that's how it all started. And then a week or two later, I'm out in the backyard and I'm grilling for the family. It's another Sunday dinner. And my 3-year-old grandson was outside with me, and he's stomping all the anthills. And I can still picture this today. And I'm watching him smash all these anthills. And I'm sitting there watching him and thinking the ants really don't enjoy what's going on right now. They're underneath the brick patio going, "Holy cow, my walls are caving," and all that. So I decided to write a book from the ants' point of view. So that's The Baker's Patio. That's the first book of this series about ants living under a brick patio and all the trials and tribulations they have. So what it's turned into is I've got 8 books now in this series. I have 3 others in a different series, and I've got a bunch more written about these ants. And it's basically, I put this ant colony into situations that we run into.
Right.
I get an idea going around my little world I live in here in Illinois, and it's like, oh my God, that's something that could happen to anybody. Let's put it in a story, and maybe kids and the adults will get some out of it.
So what year was the Baker's Patio?
4 years ago.
So you've written 11 in 4 years?
Yes. I've published 11 in 4 years. And there's a bunch more on this laptop I'm using right now. I got 5 grandkids, Rich. There's things popping up all the time.
That's awesome. So now that you left the IT field, being an entrepreneur is your full-time business now.
Well, I have another gig that makes money.
Okay.
But I basically, I'm in a position where I make my own hours.
Right.
So I'm a commission salesperson at my other job. So you know how that works.
Yeah.
And so in this, this book job takes, as much time as I want it to take. And right now it's taking a little bit more than normal, which is great because I'm doing things like this and working with Morgan James and the publicity side. And I keep getting ideas, right? Yeah. That's the problem. And if you get an idea, I don't want to leak out of my old head, and I'll work on it and, throw it down.
All right. So. Are you like me to where you're so into it that when you go to bed at night, you have the dreams and you got to wake up and write it down?
I haven't dreamed about these.
Okay.
But I am laying in bed or golfing or doing anything else, and I get an idea. And then the way I work is I work it out in my head. Mm-hmm. Like I'm closing my eyes right now thinking, and I build it in my head and kind of get this skeleton of what's going to happen. And then I write. I don't outline or anything like that. And then I write. And sometimes I write and I don't have the full thing there. Because I get to a point where I know I'm missing something, but I want to get it down.
Right.
And I know that something will hit me at some point. Adorable is a perfect example, Rich. I had that in my head, like a year and a half, 2 years ago, because it happened in my real life where, my grandson got very upset when they brought a new baby home. He was extremely jealous because mom wasn't spending all the time with him like she was. Mm-hmm. So I saw that literally happen. But I didn't have the name for the baby, and all my aunt's names generally start with A. So I'm looking through A names and all that, and then nothing hit me. And then one morning I'm laying in bed, and it's like Adorable.
Dora.
They call her Adora, but her Dora is short for Adorable. So I had it, and that was going to be the name of the book. And I filled that little slot in, and here we are.
All right, so how many books are going to be in this series for the ants?
Hard to say. Know. I mean, I've got 8 now, and I bet about 8 or 9 more written. Right. They're not flushed out, but they're on this laptop, and I got another one in my head I'm working on right now. I go in spurts where, like, I could be talking to you, Rich, and you could bring up something in my life, and it's like, oh my God, I could convert that. Because anything that happens to any of us could happen to the ants in the colony. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're experiencing the same thing. So it's basically a story about a family and a story about a bunch of people living together in a community. And I just throw them in the same situations we have. It's just, it's their own little world. I mean, they don't have it. They don't celebrate Christmas or Easter or things like that we do.
Right.
I have to make up holidays for them. They don't have everything they build or have in their colony is something they have to find on or under the patio. Like everything's made out of twigs and acorns and, Pepsi tabs and, all that type of stuff. Because they're not aware of what we do. They think we're monsters, basically. They don't know they do not understand the world that you and I live in. Cars are monsters to them. They call cars monsters.
I saw that book too. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one of the fun things is I got to take what we're going through and convert it to the little world I've created in my head. And then I think it also makes it more fun for the kids, especially when I go read to them. Like they don't have days, they have moons.
Yeah.
Every 7 moons is a week, that type of thing. So that's kind of the world that I've created.
And what I love about it is when I was looking at it or reading Adorable, the illustrations, oh my God, you mentioned the Pepsi tab. You see that on the door. Yeah. I think it was of the palace. I love the flying ants and how you got the slingshot, but when you see
the launch tunnel,
the launch tunnel, you see the whole ant colony. It's like caution.
Yeah.
Because illustrators and the writer have to work hand in hand.
I got lucky.
Okay. I was about to ask, how did you manage to meet up with Holly?
So, on a dating site for people like us.
Really?
So we use, there's a site out there called Upworks. I looked for somebody locally and, I couldn't find anybody, not for any other reason. It just didn't happen. There's good people around here. So I Googled finding illustrators, and Upworks is a website where creatives get together.
Okay. So
I posted a project, what I wanted to do. Now, remember, I have never done a book before. Mm-hmm. I had no clue what I was doing. So people applied for it. And then I would read their bio, I would look at their work, and I would set up an interview. Mm-hmm. And I talked to a few people, but Holly, when I talked to Holly, she was just like a big kid in a good way.
Right.
I mean, obviously she's an adult, but I think she was wearing like a Harry Potter t-shirt, and she had pictures from Disney on her walls. And it's just one of those people that you knew had a childish heart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It sounds kind of weird, but I don't mean she was immature, but that's just the way her brain worked. And she was just getting started too. She still had another job.
Okay.
And so we just hit it off. And we work really well together from the standpoint that she listens to my ideas and how I imagine things. Mm-hmm. And then she converts it to her. But I also give her chances to do, I shouldn't say chances. So we'll storyboard, okay? And I have most of it in my head, but we'll get to page 13 and go, Holly, I have no idea what I want to do with this page.
Right.
And we'll read it again and go, do you have any ideas? She goes, yeah, I could do this. How about this? I go, do it. We'll see what it looks like. and then maybe we make some modifications. An example for that is there's a garden there's a garden throughout the series, but we had to create a garden for the Sultan, the third book. I go, I don't know, you go crazy. I want this to be the most beautiful page in the book because it's going to be critical. It's a garden. And she goes, can I use my grandma's garden?
Oh,
that she grew all the time. I go, yeah. So basically the garden has marigolds and all these type of flowers that she kind of used in her brain, her grandma's garden. So, there's that type of cooperation we have. Ultimately it's my say what goes on,
right,
which is kind of weird because I had never done this before and I'm telling a professional artist, but it just works out. It is, I know I'm lucky. Yeah, it just, now, when we do our books, it's kind of like she knows what I'm at and looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And she loves the challenge. Like, in Adorable, there's an owl in there. And we did a few different versions of the owl, and I go, hey, do it and we'll see what it looks like. I want it to look like an older owl. So we want some gray because he's wise. And she goes, oh God, I'm going to love doing this. And she goes, what about glasses? Well, I go, so we put glasses on the owl originally, and we had 2 different sets of glasses. Then we had one without glasses, and I just threw it out on Facebook because I couldn't figure it out. And so I let my followers, I go, which ones do you guys like? And they picked the owl that's in the book.
Oh, wow.
So that gives my, quote unquote audience friends a little meat in the game too.
Well, it's like, it's having your own focus group.
In a weird way, yeah.
It is.
Yeah, and my grandkids are a part of that focus group too. So,
oh yeah, I had the same when I rebranded the podcast. I had the same thing. I went through the family and then put together a focus, ask followers, and thank God this name won because some of the ones that people were coming up with were scary.
So one other thing, if you don't mind me
Sure.
going on about the illustrations, is I was hoping I would assume you noticed that there's a lot of gray background in my books. There's color and there's grayscale. So I stole that from a music video from Aha, the Take On Me music video. I've always loved that video, and I thought it was awesome where there was a live action over the grayscale. So that's what we do. And I think it pops, and if they're in one of the full page spreads in Adorable, Prince Andrew's flying, but there's a kite flying.
Yeah.
And it's one of the only color things on the page. And it's a red, yellow kite. I just think that makes it stand out more. Now, if we had blue and all that type of stuff, like a normal book would have, that kite wouldn't stand out. Now, red and yellow are my grandson's favorite colors.
Oh.
So I throw little things like that in there that...
Some Easter eggs in the book.
Yeah, there's a lot of Easter eggs. And, the Pepsi tab on the palace door is one of them.
Right.
I don't think kids are going to know what that is. And we use popsicle sticks to make them.
Yep.
Yeah, so stuff like that we throw in. And I don't know if you noticed this or not, but in the nursery, Adorable is with her mom, the queen. The mobile. And also, what did you notice what's on the wall for pictures?
Oh, I didn't even look at it. I was looking at the ants.
They're forever stamps.
What?
So they found forever stamps on the patio. We threw those up on the wall. So there's stuff like that throughout almost all, I would have to say all my books.
Oh, wow.
So, and part of that is not necessarily that you're going to see it or anything else, but it makes it fun for Holly and I when we put these things together because we're sitting there. What could we do on the walls? Because it's got to be something the ants find. Mm-hmm. They could be something that kids drew for the queen and all that, but
or like the playpen.
Exactly. Yeah. It just hit me that they would find stamps maybe on the patio. They would frame them up. They think they're pretty, and so those are forever stamps on the wall. So there's a lot of, the monster has a hula girl in it. That's on the dashboard of the monster. One of those hula girls that shake. So there's some of the books when they're walking across the patio, we throw like a half-eaten pretzel, or a paperclip or stuff that would be on a normal person's patio or screw. Just, that's,
oh, wow.
That's the life of a man on a patio. So we got stuff like that throughout all the books. So the reason we do that is, and you mentioned this in your introduction, is I want the books to be enjoyable for the adults to read. Yeah. I found out very early on that my audience has no money. Oh. They're 3 to 5 years old. They're not going to go and buy the book. Well, yeah. So, but if the parents like it, or the guardians, or whomever's reading the book, and they see one of my books in the store, hey, I just read 2 of Ron's books. I really those are fun to read. I'm going to get another one. So I want it to be enjoyable for the adult to read, and we really concentrate on that, because I know when I read my grandkids, if I pick the book, I'm not going to pick one that I don't want to read.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick one I want to read. And that happens, we put them to bed and they get to pick a story, and Papa gets to pick one too. So, we made it it's a very intentional that we make our books enjoyable for adults to read. And another thing you'll notice in that book is that all the lettering are on white backgrounds. We do not put any text on a dark background like some authors do.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And that makes it, because if you've ever read Goodnight Moon, it's extremely frustrating to read in a dark room, because there's a lot of lettering on red and black, and not black, but, dark colored backgrounds. So that's frustrating smart. Because the majority of the books, when you're reading a children's book, it's generally in a dark area, because you're putting them down for a nap and or to go to bed. So
that is brilliant.
That was a thought we put into.
That's brilliant. That's a good idea. And actually, with your books, because they balance humor, heart, important lessons. So what's your actual process for crafting the books that actually do resonate with both the kids and the adults reading to them?
Well, it's a flow, because if you think about life, okay, I'm not one of those guys that try to get deep, but if you think about what happens to us, generally there's some soft or hard problem that occurs, okay, and then generally there's some sort of resolution, and a lot of times that resolution can affect the adult also, by also teaching the kid a lesson, if that makes sense. So an example of that is the book I have called Yummies, where it takes place around in the fall, where candy falls on the patio periodically because it's Halloween season. So the queen warns everybody in the colony, stay away from the yummies. They're bad for you. Your bodies can't handle them. Oh. But so Prince Andrew's flying around one day and sees a yummy on the patio. And it's a lollipop. And he goes down there and he goes, you know what, I bet, And he starts thinking to himself like any immature kid would think, he looks all around. There's nobody watching him. And it's like, you know what, I think I'm going to try this. That way I'll know what it's like. And so he licks it, and that's not so bad. And he licks it again and licks it again. He goes, I don't know what the big deal. And then he flies off. And then he has a huge sugar rush, okay? Flies home, destroys the colony. So that's the basic gist of the story, is that listen to your elders, basically.
Right.
Now, the end of the story, though, is the queen is punishing her son. He can't fly for seven moons, so he's grounded, basically. And as she's watching her son clean up, she's with Sir Alexander, who is her right-hand man. He's the captain of the Queen's Guard, basically. And she goes, I don't know what I'm going to do with this boy. And he just says, all you can do, my queen, is love him. Just love him. And that's kind of the message to the adult that comes out of that situation, is how many times have you seen your kid do something incredibly stupid? You're staring at him going, what am I going to do with this kid? And the message to all of us is all you can do is love them. Yeah. So that's how that book ends. And so there's a lot of, I always try to end a book. It's always a quote. Majority of my books end with a quote. And another example is a book called I'm With Me, which is a girl ant wanders to the edge of the patio and everybody's worried about her. And the flying ants are out on patrol. They go out there and, hey, what are you doing here? You're all by yourself. I'm not by myself. I'm with me. So eventually that gets back to the queen. First of all, the chief of the police ants is all upset. He wants to send the rescue crew out to get her. But the queen says, settle down. I haven't been out for a while. I'll go check on her. So she flies out to see Allison. Allison, what are you doing here? You're all alone. I'm not alone. I'm with me. And the queen asks if she could sit with her for a while. And Allison's like, oh my God, the queen wants to sit with me. So she goes, what are you doing? Well, I'm waiting for a friend. And then she points, and the last page is, there's my friend right now. And it's the sun coming up in the east.
Oh, wow.
And she tells the queen, goes, doesn't my friend make you feel all warm inside? And the queen responds, yes, he does. Yes, she does. Yes, she does. And that's how that book ends. But the general message of that is, and this happened, I was alone a lot as a kid. My father passed away early. And so I had to make play by myself and imagine it play. And I wasn't alone. I was with me. So I wanted to get that message across to kids that it's okay. And I've had people review the book and say, I wish I had this book when my daughter was little, because it's a sign of independence. And I think it's more important for girls to hear that than it is for boys so.
You're listening to Conversations with Rich Bennett. We'll be right back. When life changes in an instant, your ability to move forward shouldn't have to. That's why I want to tell you about Real Life Prosthetics, where restoring ability isn't just a mission, it's a passion. Real Life Prosthetics is dedicated to helping amputees regain mobility and independence with advanced, custom-designed prosthetic solutions. Whether it's upper or lower limb prosthetics, their expert clinicians work hand in hand with their clients, creating devices that fit comfortably, function naturally, and empower people to reclaim their active lives. They understand every journey is unique, and so is every prosthesis they craft. With cutting-edge technology, compassionate care, and a commitment to real-world results, Real Life Prosthetics is changing lives every single day. If you or someone you know is facing limb loss, visit reallifeprosthetics.com and see how they're restoring ability. I'll be honest with you, I wish a lot of these books were around when I was a kid. Because you think about it, seriously, you think about it, when we were younger, there weren't a lot of books like this which taught you about, family, heart, all of that stuff. I think you even cover bullying, don't you?
I have one that's about bullying that hasn't been produced yet. I've got, like I said, I've got 8 or, and that's still working in my head. I got to figure out what I want to call the ants that are, so that one, anyway, I would let you finish your thought. That we could talk about that.
Well, no, I'm just saying the books back then, when I don't remember any books like that when I was a kid that, taught you anything like that.
Well, they're all Disney and stuff like that.
Yeah,
generally.
Dissney, Dr. Seuss was the other one. Scholastic. Actually, I don't even know.
Scholastic
was around then.
A lot of them too. And what I'm trying to do is I want to be subtle with my message because the messages in real life are subtle. So I didn't want to do a Berenstain Bear type of book, where they go to the mall and somebody's going to get lost at the mall. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to kind of replicate what really happens in our world. And then maybe when the book's over, the reader will go, that was interesting what happened to Prince Andrew. And then, it leads to a little bit more conversation. Yeah. Or, wasn't Allison Aunt, she was pretty strong-willed and, something along those lines. And I don't know if people are having that conversation or not, but that's kind of the route I'm trying to go with these stories.
Well, actually, and this just gave me an idea. Do you know if do you know of any daycares that actually have your books? Or pre-K or whatever?
I don't know. Well, I know that there's some pre-K because I visit them. Okay. So, and I will not go. This is another story. I will not go into schools or classrooms or anything like that without books now. Yeah. Because what I found out is kids don't have books anymore.
No.
So I have sponsors and businesses and clubs and all that will buy books for kids. So I will tell, hey, I'm going to this school. I got 80 kids. Can you help me? And a couple businesses in town love it. So they I give them a discount. And we go in and I sign the books for the kids and I read to them and we talk about, generally I ask the teachers first, what are you working on in English or, kindergarten Ks, K1 are kind of hard, but I just let them ask any questions and I get questions. The questions are like, do you know I have a dog? Stuff that has nothing to do with books, but a lot of time at that age, they're working on idea creation. Mm-hmm. So we talk about that. And a lot of times we'll make up a story where I'll say, be like, hey, Rich, what's your favorite animal at the zoo? Yeah. And you answer and I go, do you think is it a boy or a girl? What color is it? And remember, the animal doesn't have to be the real color. It's your imagination. We can make whatever color you want. Go, well, if you think that animal had a job at the zoo, what would it be? And that's where we build the story. And one of the better ones is a cheetah, and he delivered pizza. We created that one in a because he was really fast. So that was that's one of the stories we created in our first grade class this year. So that's some of the stuff I do in classrooms, and the teachers seem to like it because it gives the kids an idea that it's not that hard to come up with ideas if you just look around at your. We'll talk about what did you do at recess today. One girl said I played on the monkey bars. I sat there thinking, I go, do you think monkeys play on people bars? So we created a story like that. So that's what I do when I visit schools. And again, as the kids get older, I'll put together a PowerPoint about how I actually build the book and the importance of grammar and the scary part about what I do. And it is scary. Generally I get a lot of, do you draw the pictures? And then I show a picture that I drew and then compare it to what Holly, because there's a lot of that where she goes, Ron, I just don't understand what you're coming up with here.
Right.
Can you sketch it for me? And now it's a joke. And because I can't draw. So, like the palace, adorable, that I had to draw that for her, what I was looking at. And then so I draw it and then I send it to her. So I keep all those. Yeah. And then I'll put them up at a comparison on a slide to go, this is what I came up with. This is what Holly came up with, which is better. And the kids laugh and off we go.
So when's the animation cartoon of these coming out?
That would be great. If you know anybody, Rich, I would love to talk to somebody about that because
that would be awesome.
Well, here I'm 63. I've got 8 more written. I don't know what I'm do with them all, unless you know some wealthy billionaire that would like to fund me to put all these out. And I've got another one in my head. It's just things keep popping up. So,
but you're doing something that I was going to suggest to you, and I found this a local author here does it, and she came to our Lions Club and asked us to do it. And I've mentioned it to other children's authors especially, and I got to give you kudos for this. You're getting sponsors to buy your books and give them to the daycares and everything. And I think more authors need to do that.
Well, one thing I got going for me is my degree's in radio and TV, so I'm not shy about getting in front of people and talking. So I will, and now I'm at the point where I'll just walk up and talk to somebody. What do you do? I'll be golfing. So
right.
I'm thrown in a foursome. What do you do for a living? Oh, I work at Discipline. I go, what do you do? I like kids' books. By the way, would your company like to buy books for kids? I mean, it's a part of my general conversation with people now, and it just because I really want to get books in as many kids' hands as I can.
All right, and for those
selfishly, it helps fund what I'm doing. So I want to get that part out too. But
those of you listening, Ron and I are not twins because it's funny. A lot of the stuff that you do I have done as well. I have a degree in radio and TV.
Yeah.
I was in the IT field, still doing sales, working on a book, but it's not a children's book. Eventually I'll get it done one of these days. Tell me about some of these strong women that have made a big impact on you.
Well, the easy answer is my mom. So,
right.
My dad passed away when I was 5 or 6 years old, and this was in the late 60s. Okay.
Oh, wow.
So she had teenage boys at that time, and everybody knows what was going on in the late 60s. So she had to deal with that. And this is all looking back now. I didn't know this at the time. My mom had to go back to school, get her degree, and she became a psychiatric nurse. And she was the first one in our community.
Oh, wow.
So she was raising 6 kids on her own. No, we didn't have family for a couple thousand miles because they moved from the East Coast out here. And looking back, she was the only mom that worked of all my friends.
Wow.
All the other moms were stay-at-home moms. So I would go to their house and they'd make Pop-Tarts and stuff for me, and all that. They'd come to my house and we're rummaging through all our cabinets and, just because my mom wasn't around. And then, she'd worked all day and come home and the phone would ring and it could be the suicide hotline or something like that. And she'd leave the house. And because she had to go take care of somebody, which I got it. I got that somebody needed her badly.
Yeah.
And so, I was talking about being alone a lot. That was part of the reason. So when I started writing these books, I had the Queen, I had the Prince Andrew, and, I was writing about the Baker's Patio, I was writing about all these things going on, about the monster and all that. And I had a friend reading them for me, kind of, let me know if I was on the right track. And she goes, God, Ron, I love how you have such a strong matriarch in these stories. And I was like, holy crap.
The Queen's your mother.
I was writing about my life. I had no idea. Rich, I swear to God, I had no idea.
Yeah.
And then I started looking about all the other things. And, my mom always said that if she would have moved back east, And she goes, no, I had such a strong community in our neighborhood that helped me get through this time. And in a weird way, that's kind of what all the ants are doing for each other. They all have to cooperate to make this a successful colony because there's gatherers, and these ants all have their proper jobs. And that's what I was writing. And it was just eye-opening to me that without knowing it, the experiences I was having was ending up in my stories, and it wasn't a conscious thing at all.
Wow. Mm-hmm. All right. So, am I right, though? The queen is your mother?
Indirectly. I mean, she's the smartest person in the colony, and she was the smartest person in my neighborhood. So, yeah. I mean, the stuff that happens in there isn't necessarily things my mom has said, but she's always the one, in a way, because she's always the one that's relaxed and tells people to calm down. Guys, it's not that big of a deal. Let's just all take a deep breath. I mean, indirectly, that's what she's doing. Like when the first book, The Baker's Patio, everybody's all upset because the walls were crumbling and all that. And she sent Prince Andrew out to see what was going on. And he came back. He goes, you wouldn't believe what's going on. There's this crazy monster walking on a patio and stomping all the anthills. And she just goes, oh my gosh, the Bakers have a little one. Oh, that's what she says. So instead of getting upset, she comes up with a way to solve the problem.
All right.
So that's her role.
So do you look
I'm generally Prince Andrew.
I was going to say, are you Prince Andrew?
Yeah, to a degree, yeah. But, yes and no, because he gets in trouble, but he always comes around at the end. So I guess you could say that's me. Okay. So, yeah. Look, yeah, because I'm very self-deprecating, Rich. So I admit I'm not the best person in the world. I screw up all the time, but generally I get it right at the end of the story. So, and there's some stories I've written where he's actually turns out to be a pretty good guy. But so anyway,
I tell you one thing. I'm already looking forward to the book that comes out after Adorable, because when it ended, I'm like, oh, I want to see Andrew and Dora play together now.
Yeah. So what helps with Adorable too is I had some books written for print, like they were called The Baker's Patio early years. Okay. So it was like when Prince Andrew was younger. But now I can put Adorable in those situations. Yeah. And one of those is about the bullying story. It happens at school when Prince Andrew was younger. There's also a story I wrote about the day the king passes away or gets smushed in the book. Oh, wow. And that experience. So that's one too. So and you're right. It does give me some things where, there could be an issue with, I hadn't even thought about, Andrew and Adorable, some of the predicaments they could get in where Adorable could be cheating at a game or, stuff like that. And Andrew gets mad that she's cheating and runs and tells mom, and she has to deal with that situation. It's basically a family dynamic that I'm creating that the ideas are endless. And that's where I would love, Rich, honestly, I would love to sit in a room with TV, whoever, creative people, and say, just go over what we're talking about right now. Right. Oh my God, we could do this. We could do that. We could do that. We could do that. I mean, we could come up with, it's just unlimited.
Actually, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because you talked about the networking group. Mm-hmm. But do you know, and I don't know if there's any in your area or not, but if not, thank God for internet. Do you know of any mastermind groups for like children's authors?
I belong to a couple.
Oh wow!
But not to the degree that you're that have access to those type of things. And I live in a very small community, about 40,000 people, so that type of thing isn't around here. So what I'm hoping is, Rich, somebody's listening to your podcast and likes what we're talking about and reach out to you. You can reach out to me and say, maybe we can have that conversation. But I know it's there. Yeah. I know this series could be flushed out, and you read Adorable. It could be flushed out and made into a longer story than absolutely. It is. Easily, just give more personality. Everybody's in there. And I know it's there. I just got to find the person who would believe in the process and the project and have a conversation.
And the thing is, your books are teaching kids about something that a lot of parents don't really like to talk about. Whether it be bullying, death is another one. It's hard for kids to understand that. You always see it with when a new baby's coming, how, especially if it's, if there's an only child, and then they all of a sudden they got a new brother or sister. A lot of kids have a hard time with that. I remember when so there's four of us. It was my older brother, then my sister, then me, and my younger brother. And when my younger brother was born, my sister was upset because she wanted a sister. To the point she would purposely dress my younger brother up as a girl.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, without my parents knowing, of course, because, my father would have had a cow. I mean, but, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So I got to look for somebody that could turn these into an animation.
Oh, I would love it if you hadn't knew anybody. But, that would be, I just think, I am at the point now where I know I'm good at this because I've had a lot of people like you that I didn't know that could lie, that could just say, Ron, you suck. I don't want to talk to you on your podcast, stuff like that. But I've had a lot of people that have said that you've got a skill for this. Your brain doesn't work. Your brain doesn't work like a normal person's brain works. And I'm just, there's sparks going off all the time with ideas, and I can't stop writing. So,
which is good. I mean, that's the one thing I love about, people that are creative. The ideas just keep flowing and write them down. That's why I wish I could write, but maybe one day. All right. So all of you listening, especially you business owners and nonprofits, I want you to do me a favor. Actually, first of all, before I do that, Ron, tell everybody the website and how they can get the books.
And I also have something special for your listeners, Rich.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I do. In my radio voice here. So if they go to my website, papatellmeabook.com, which is PAPA, tellmeabook.com, or ronkinscherf.com. And it's easier with Papa, so you don't have to spell Kinscherf. But papatellmeabook.com, there's a tab for podcasts, okay? I'll put, when you post this, I'll put your podcast underneath it. There's also, underneath that tab, there's a place where you can get a free ebook. So if you go out there, you can click on the free ebook, and you can get a copy of Adorable. And also download some coloring pages for the kids in your life.
I love that.
So the password is podcast. So it's easy. I can remember that.
Yeah, that's easy.
So, plus I know I'm doing a podcast. So anyway, so they could go there, download the ebook. If you like it, maybe you want to order, the regular copy. All my books are out there. They're all orderable through my website. Another thing you can do when you order them, I think there's a comment section.
Okay.
When you order the books, and you can say, hey, this is for my grandson, Bob. Can you write a note in there? Or anything like that, and I'll put a note in there. Can you tell this is from his Uncle Steve? So I'll do that before I ship them out. So
now,
that's fine.
How would somebody go about, like a business or a nonprofit, sponsoring books?
Yeah.
How would they go about doing that? Just
there should be a link on my website to get a hold of me, or they could if they're listening to you, Rich, I'm sure they're familiar with you. They could reach out to you, and I would assume you'd pass along my information to them.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, that's so or through Facebook. I mean, I'm out on Facebook too. They could send me a note through Facebook.
I think that's a big thing, and especially
I would love it
with organizations like ours, like the Lions Club. That's one of our things as a service project. Why not do that?
Well, what I would do is, if let's just use your group as an example, Rich. If you guys wanted to do something, I could zoom in to the classroom, read to the kids, talk to the kids like and then ship the books, and then we're done. So, so that's stuff we could do, yeah. Or if if there's enough out there, I'd come out. It depends on how we could figure that part out. But I would love doing that. I love whenever I'm having a bad day, it's thinking, oh God, I got to go talk to 100 kids at the school today. This is going to be bad. And then I get there, it's like, oh God, this is so much fun.
It cheers you up.
You never know what they're going to say, Rich.
You know what
One of the best questions ever. Well, I need grandkids. Don't tell me that because I got enough. One of the best questions I got. I was talking to some fourth graders, I think, earlier this year, and Mr. Ron, is there math involved? And I just started laughing. We're talking about books and literature and all this stuff. Is there math involved? I looked at his teacher. I go, do you want me to get into that? Because there is. And he goes, I would love it. So we went through how to break down the costs of how I figured out what to charge for a book.
Right.
And the teacher that was just great. That was just great. Cause now they understand where costs and all that stuff come from and blah, blah, blah.
How many schools have you been to so far to talk on career day?
Well, I know I've given away over 2,000 books the last 2 years.
Wow.
So I don't know how many classes I've been to. Honestly, I could probably figure it out, but I'm more worried about the number of books I give than the number of schools I go to. But it's basically every school in my community I've been to at least once. And then I went and, I got groups now calling me, hey, we'd like to partner with you. And because our mission is, literature and literacy for kids.
Oh, and speaking of which, because I noticed on the back of the book is the Habitat for Humanity.
That's Morgan James' big.
Okay.
That's their big sponsor or sponsorship. That's their big. Oh. That's what Morgan James does, yeah.
I did not know that. Mm-hmm. I'll be darned. All right. So those of you listening, if you want to sponsor, let me know. I'll get you in contact with Ron. Those parents, grandparents, uncles, purchase the books. When you purchase them, make sure you leave a full review. And actually, I think the kids will get a blast out of this. Ask the kids what they think. Have them write the review. Of course, you could still put it on Amazon, Goodreads, or whatever. Yeah. But I think when you hear the reviews from the kids, and I think doesn't Amazon or whatever allow videos? Videotape the kids.
So I appreciate you saying that because my books are available on Amazon and wherever books are sold. So that is, they are out there if people want to do that. But yeah, I would love the reviews on Amazon or Goodreads or
Barnes,
wherever.
Wherever they're at.
Yeah, a lot of the reviews I get are on my website. So if the folks go to that, they can see what other people are saying about my books.
Okay.
The guy doing my website figured out how to get that. There's a little widgety thing that goes back there, and so there's a lot of. So I like that part because you can go out there and read the reviews for people and say, okay,
yeah,
I'm not buying something I'm buying something people like. So
all right, so Ron, before I get to my last question, is there anything you would like to add?
The only message I want to get across to some folks is, I was not happy when I was in IT at the end of my IT career, and I didn't know I was not happy until I got out of it. So I think it's important for people as they get older to find something they enjoy that they can share with other people. And it could be cooking, it could be whatever. And I was fortunate because we had, my wife still works. I had savings that I could use to help, do this. I know I'm very fortunate. But if you're in a job where you think you're in a rut, I have friends that are in this situation where they think that, I can't get out of that job because where else am I going to go? That type of thing where they're just beat down. I go, there's always something better. Or if not, find something you enjoy and share it with somebody else, whether it's baking or go over and change somebody's oil. A friend, hey, what can I do for you?
Yeah.
Or there's just all kinds of shovel somebody's snow. I don't know, whatever it could be. Just to do something for somebody else that makes you feel good about yourself, because that's the spot I was in. Is I didn't know I was not happy until I got out of it, and then I knew, God, I was so stressed out. It was just like a load of bricks was lifted off my shoulders, and I have found what I am supposed to do.
Yeah, and
I'm having a blast.
Yep.
I think you can tell that by talking to me. I love talking about this stuff.
Oh, likewise. If you would have told me that I'd be doing this, first of all, I would have said, what's a podcast? But when I was in radio, I was strictly a music DJ. I did not like talking to people.
Oh, I was talk radio. So I would do contests.
Okay.
I did contests, and one year I redid the War of the Worlds thing that Orson.
Oh yeah.
It was on the 50th anniversary or 100th anniversary. I recreated that using all local personalities. So that's the type of stuff. Theater of the mind. The theater of the mind is the stuff that really drew me to radio, and it kind of correlates to what I'm doing now.
Well, it was music that pulled me to it. And
yeah, I can get that.
Now that I'm doing this, I love it. I mean, because I'm learning from it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So, Ron, the last question, I'm doing something different here.
I'm a little worried.
Me too, because I don't know what the question's going to be.
Okay.
I have random questions, 50 of them to be exact. And,
are you serious?
Yeah.
And you pull it out of a hat?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Okay.
Well, pick a number 1 through 50. Actually, I'm not pulling it out of the hat.
48.
48. Now, I have to tell you, so a couple people that I've had on, it's weird how the number they picked. Oh, God. The number they picked, somehow or another, aligned with what we were talking about. So, number 48. What's a simple piece of wisdom you often return to?
Keep it simple. Because keep it simple. When I write these books, I try to be economic and not throw stuff in there that doesn't need to be in there. I don't like to be wordy when I create these books. I I after I do the first or second draft, I take stuff out because I don't want to lose the kid as I tell the story. That's one. The other kind of life thing that I've learned, and this comes from coaching, is there's only two things you can control in this world. One is your effort and one is your attitude. Everything else is out of your control. And that, from a sports perspective, you can't control what the other team does. You can't control the referees. You can't control what the crowd's yelling at you, all that type of stuff. All you can control is your effort and your attitude, and you should be good to go.
Oh, I love that. That great answer. Well, Ron, I want to thank you so much. It's been a true pleasure and an honor. Feel free to come back on when the next books come out, too.
Oh, okay. Can do that.
Sounds good to me. Thanks a lot.
Hey, Rich, great talking to you.
Thank you for listening to Conversations with Rich Bennett. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and learned something from it as I did. If you'd like to hear more conversations like this, be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. And if you have a moment, I'd love it if you could leave a review. It helps us reach more listeners and share more incredible stories. Don't forget to connect with us on social media or visit our website at conversationswithrichbennett.com for updates, giveaways, and more. Until next time, take care, be kind, and keep the conversations going. It takes a lot to put a podcast together, and my sponsors help out a lot, but I also have some supporters that actually help me when it comes to the editing software, the hosting, and so forth. There's a lot that goes into putting this together. So I want to thank them. And if you can, please visit their websites, visit their businesses, support them however you can. So please visit the following: Real Life Prosthetics, cutting edge solutions, restoring ability since 2001. Go to reallifeprosthetics.com. Full Circle Boards. Nobody does charcuterie like Full Circle Boards. Visit them at fullcircleboards.com. Sincerely Sawyer Photography. Live in the moment. They'll capture it. Visit them at sincerelysawyer.com.